If you start hearing the same critique from multiple people who are not connected, it is worth paying attention to. Your enemies, your haters, can be some of your greatest teachers because they may very well expose your weaknesses. In which case, you have an opportunity to get better, and you can thank them for that. I don't really compare myself to others. It's not really ever been my jam. What I look at is, am I getting better day over day, week over week, month over month? That's the one that really matters to me. It's me against me. It's comparing me against me. And as long as I'm iterating and improving, I know I'm going to get there. And that usually, when you get really good at that and you start to enjoy the journey, somebody else will likely be the first to tell you you're kicking ass. Because you just think you're doing you. You're so focused on execution that you're not paying attention to that. Right? There's an old saying, and I think it's fairly true, when you're good at something, you'll tell everyone. When you're great at something, they'll tell you. And that's your goal. You want to get to a point where it's other people going, dude, what the hell? How are you so good? The better you get at something, the more influential you become, the bigger your reach, you will have people that hate on you. It's almost a rite of passage. You will also, as you grow, you will have people who think you can do no wrong. Both should be avoided. You'll get to a point where you start muting praise and critique because they're a double-edged sword. If you seek one, you'll seek the other, or you'll get the other. The more you care about people's praise, the more you'll care about their critique. So on social media, no doubt, I reach millions of people every month now. I don't get a ton, to be fair, but I do get critiqued for a number of things. Sometimes people making fun of my beard, making fun of my hair, how much I cuss, how I dress. Stuff that I can't even make sense of. And then I'll have people compliment me for my hair and how I dress and how I speak, right? In both cases, if I respond at all, my response to both is exactly the same, which is, thank you for your feedback. Good or bad, it's the same feedback. Do not live for other people's approval. You want to fuck yourself up hard, you'll get into your late 30s, early 40s, you did what mom and dad asked you to do, and you'll wonder why you're empty on the inside and your life doesn't make sense. And it's not because mom and dad are bad, they're amazing. Statistically, there's a very high chance that they may be the only ones in the world that actually love you. That's both funny and funny. So it's not negative intent on their part, but they can only teach you to do what they think is best, based on their world, based on their outcomes, which may or may not actually line up in the world we live in anymore, or may or may not be what you want. Obviously in our business and just around, there's a lot of my friends, a lot of my community are first or second generation immigrants from somewhere because the United States is a country of immigrants, and I hope we never fucking forget that. I think it's what makes us amazing. And I'm a big fan of immigration for a number of reasons, as long as we do it the right way. That being said, I don't know how many people I've coached over the last 10 years that are going to college and going into debt for a degree, not because it's something they're interested in, not because it's something that they think they should do. They're trying to honor a parent who thinks that a milestone for the entire family is you're going to be the first kid to get a degree. And I tell them, get it. Honor your parents if that's what you want to do. But it sucks when I see parents do that to their children, right? It's like an 80, what is it? We're up to 80 something, 88%? Fact check me, but I think it's in the 80s now of people don't use the degree that they got in school, but they still have the debt, most of them. Biden's trying. Haters will come. They're part of the game. That's the be so good you can't be ignored. When I started in the business, I was whooping everybody's ass, like circles. So undoubtedly, there were people that were not very happy that I was making them all look bad and just blowing up their excuses. So I went through phases where they would critique me. Oh, he's doing this. Oh, he's doing this. Oh, he's only getting easy territory. Oh, blinders. Didn't listen to it, didn't react to it. They're all gone. I am not. Don't react. Now, I will say this. I would use a rule of 3 here. If you start hearing the same critique from multiple people who are not connected, it is worth paying attention to. Your enemies, your haters, can be some of your greatest teachers because they may very well expose your weaknesses. In which case, you have an opportunity to get better, and you can thank them for that. So I don't pay attention to one-off critiques, but if I hear the same critique over and over again, I start to pay attention to it. Make sense? So you don't want to become so disconnected that you can't learn from feedback. Just don't let it go to your head or your heart. One of the worst things that can happen is I see a sharp guy come into the business that I'm excited about, and then he gets paired with or hangs out with guys that I'm working out of the business. Why? High performers just look at low performers with a certain level of disgust. They're not influenced by them. So I do learn something about someone if they're influenced by a low performer, right? So for instance, a high performer isn't going to go to lunch for 2 hours before they get to the field. They're going to go, hey, I need to go make money. I want to go to the field. And they'll interrupt whatever this person's doing. They don't look and go, oh, you think it's okay, so it must be okay. Because remember, their internal standard is higher than what? Standard in the business. But it kills me, and that's one of the reasons why sometimes I get asked, well, when is it time to let somebody go? If their example is having a negative impact on the newest guys coming in, it's time for them to go. And normally if I'm here, how I keep that is I literally wrap the guy that's a bad example in my energy and like hide them essentially. Or make it in such a way that nobody's going to be influenced by them because it's clear my opinion of this person. And that may seem like an asshole thing, it's actually the opposite. That's me being patient with the dude. Okay, what would be my other option? Just fucking fire him and get rid of him. That's me being merciful, saying, hey, get your shit together, and I'm gonna mute you until you get your shit together. Because I do believe you can figure this out. One of my strengths and weaknesses, kind of a double-edged sword, is I tend to be very loyal to people. And I keep holding on and believing in people, sometimes much longer than I fucking should. But your example matters because our business, any growing business, really, is all about who? The new guy. Because the new guy's coming in and looking at the people around them to what the standard is in the business. Now again, top performers don't need a standard. They create their own standard, and I know them right away because they look around and they don't go, oh, this is what I can get away with, or this is what's acceptable. They go, this is my competition? Fuck yeah, I'm gonna run this bitch. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And I'm all about it, right? There's no politic in our business save one. What is it? Performance, result. So I'm looking for the guys that don't look around, they put their blinders on, and they just go crush. And I want an army of savages, just hungry beasts that don't make excuses. And our clients want that, which means you can fast track yourself very easily by just being insanely committed and obsessed with your own personal development. That's it. It's not where you start, it's how fast you iterate. Right? I have seen people come in that have more talent, so they get off to a quicker start, that get passed up by guys that had less talent or less experience, but continue to iterate and grow faster than the guy that seems to be super talented, which I think is awesome. I'm always looking for green arrows. Green arrows mean far more to me than what your starting hand is. So how fast can you iterate? How fast can you grow? How fast can you improve? That's what matters to me. And just getting obsessed, that really is it. Get obsessed with your craft. And in our business, there's just a handful of things for the first four. In the first 4 promotions, there's really only 2 skills that you need to get really, really good at. Number 1 is what? Sales, which is a life skill. It should be taught in school. Your whole world opens up to you when you know how to communicate effectively. You know how much free shit I get simply because I can communicate? Or how much I get refunds, I get discounts. My assistants know if I don't do rental cars much anymore. I seem to enjoy Turo the most, so this has changed. But when they book me rental cars, I always told them, book me one less than I'm gonna get because I know I'm gonna get a free upgrade when I get there. It was gonna happen. Before I flew first class, I would go in and negotiate for first class. And I'd get it more often than not, simply because I know how to communicate. Well, that's very useful for a number of reasons. So it's just a good life skill. How much drama is created in the world because of miscommunication? Most of it. Fucking every movie you watch generally, especially every dramedy, is predicated upon poor communication. You're like, just tell him that you love him. Come on. But seriously, most of the drama in the world is created by miscommunication. So what is sales? It is the ability to transfer information effectively in a way that compels the other to action, which is the transfer of energy. So it's like you don't want to just be good enough, you want to get phenomenal at sales. There's really no such thing as being too good at sales. However, you will know that it has become your superpower when you find yourself having to say no for others. In other words, you're so good at what you're doing that they just say yes. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Maybe this isn't right for you, which is also a problem because when you do that, what Fuji factor are you using? Indifference, which makes them what? Want it even more. And you're like, oh my God. I'm trying to tell you, I don't know if this is good. No, I want to do it. Okay, Mrs. Jones. Sales is number 1. And number 2, which is really in many ways an offshoot of communication, is to learn how to lead and train. You will make thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in our business being good at sales. You will make millions of dollars being good at replicating yourself. Somebody that knows how to develop leaders is far more valuable to me than someone who knows how to go out and make $2,000 a week every week, or $5,000 a week, or $10,000 a week. Replication is how we get to our goals. So, if I'm looking at where my development skill tree is, I'm simply over-indexing on those two skill sets. How do I improve? What is my growth plan for improving in those two areas? And if you don't see any great examples around you, then just keep your blinders on and focus on you.